is not a wife or another person. And the difficulty with that is I can't describe that. But there isn't another person here, you see. As far as I'm concerned, there's no one here I'm related to. There's no me to relate to them. So there's no self-consciousness here. There's nothing that's self-conscious. There's no self. And therefore, there's nothing here that sees anybody in this room to relate to. There isn't anybody here to relate to. There's already at oneness. That's another powerful part of this message, really, or what this happening. And that is, if you're in a happening with somebody who believes they are someone, like a teacher, then they see other people as someone else, and they create a relationship with them, and they communicate with them and try to help them. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. But here, you're not seen. For me, there's no one there. So there's no relationship, there's just what is. And that can't be described. It's like it's completely, in a sense, the nearest you can go to is that it is completely empty. That's the nearest I can try and describe. It's like it's completely, this situation here is completely empty and completely full, without anything in it.
People often use that analogy, like the movie screen with the image on it,
yeah,
or a page with words. So is it like,
no,
it's not like you see both at the same time. So you're aware that
it's in a sense another way of describing awareness. It's like watching a film.
Yeah.
And of course the lot of detachment is very attractive in that way, because you learn to, at times, you can't maintain it of course, you learn to live in an ivory tower and watch the world go by on a film. It's a sort of way of being distant. It's quite near to disassociation, but you can develop, or you don't, of course nobody does. You can go to a teacher who will help you to develop a sense of being detached, which is like watching a film. Mm-hmm. This is nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah.
It's even closer than intimacy. It's closer than close.
There's another thing, this is like from one of your audio things way back. The walk, I always have a sense that there's something behind
I did, yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it's in a sense, it's like connecting with something that is watching this happen through awareness. And it's like being at a distance from what is happening, but it's still in the story. It's essentially a phenomenon that happens to the seeker, to the separate me. It happened to me. I was very, very aware of something that was behind me watching me, but it was another thing watching me. It doesn't have in the end, any connection with this.
Okay.
Tony, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'll try it. The thing about relationships, there are questions. For example, Claire's not here. Her father died, and she wanted to be with him. So that means that there is a relationship between Claire and...
Apparently it seems like that. She, being with him is what happened. It wasn't because she chose to be with him.
Okay.
And as far as Claire is concerned, she had no relationship with a father. There wasn't a father to relate to. An apparent story, but it's only an apparent story.
Very difficult.
Because
Because
not difficult, impossible.
there's a house, and that is living in this house together with another person called Claire.
Now you're telling me a story.
Yeah, I know.
It's the reality or the energy that there is not in that story. There is an apparent story. There is no separate person that this is living within the house. But it can't be described.
Another thing you mentioned, you don't see us.
I don't see me anywhere.
But you differentiate because when you're going up the stairs, someone comes towards you and you know who it is. It's
That's a
not me.
response. No, there doesn't have to be a me for there to be a response.
Okay.
In either.
Pardon? Did you say something?
Well, what I mean is it doesn't matter whether there's a me there or not. There can be a response.
Hello?
Hello.
Yesterday after meeting, I went back to the room and I felt I have to call my son, who I knew he was alone coming home from school. He's 11 years old, so I called him and somehow I was not there, I felt, and it was for me so... To me, came back and felt so scared not being this mother for my son because he was worried about his finger, and so I was there and it just happened, this call, but of course this me came back again and this being this mother.
Yes.
That's what happened to me in '93 when first time this person got washed away.
Yeah.
After an hour or so, I looked at the watch and thought, shit, I have to run home for my daughter.
Yeah, you have to be on.
So there I was in the whole movie again,
Yeah.
and I'm since then somehow. I mean, there are glimpses, but being a mother is like, I think that's what keeps me very much in being this need.
Oh yeah,
Of being
mother-
responsible, because we talked about relationship.
Yeah.
I felt yesterday when I called my son, how somehow there was just this speech happening, and it just was different.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
to
yeah,
put in
because-
words, but there comes this me with fear again. After, not big fear, but the sense of, shit, I have to be this mother, this Marianne again.
Because for me, it's much safer to be the mother. You know, God, I've got to come back and be the mother because I'm in control then and I can help him. And da, 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 da. That's the way that me maintains its existence. And very often by confirming its role as a mother or a good person or whatever you like to call it. So the role reconfirms and reaffirms the existence of a separate me.
But with being a mother, it's a strong one. It's stronger than with other people like
Probably.
her. So that's what I realized, so that I started to prefer more and more to be alone. I don't need so much this people go out so much anymore because there's always this role coming.
You don't need anything. You don't need anything. But to drop me or drop the role of mother can be frightening. You know, you suddenly dropped in or you moved into a world you don't know. You know. This disorientation because you're so used to being a mother or a father or whatever. That's sort of safe in a way because there are measurements there and things you can do or not do. You can be a better mother or a worse mother. You can't be a better or worse nothing. Yeah.
It feels like I'm postponing. To me, it's postponing.
Oh no, you're not. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't postpone it. You can, the me wants to avoid this and is continually rejecting. But there's nothing in there that's doing that. That's wholeness rejecting itself. Wholeness rejects wholeness and wants to stay apart. Honestly, it'll get you when it gets you, girl. That's right.
Okay. This was just the issue I wanted to ask about this mother and on-site trip, because yesterday you mentioned what is still functioning when you cross the road. It's like an instinct that you watch out for the car. The system does this.
That's got nothing to do with the role. That's in the neurology of the body. There is an instinct to say.
Instinct, but
that's
isn't
got
that?
nothing to do with being a mother.
Are you sure? Because I always ask. Yes, I have gone through this mother thing, some years, and my daughter even is no more in this so-called world, and I still have this coming up, and I call it like instinct in a way, like when you say neurology, if that is also like some kind of instinct, which is the last thing maybe you can get rid of, if ever.
You don't need to get rid of it. The instinct to protect the body from a situation is nobody. It has nothing to do with me. You don't need a me to have an instinct, and you don't need a me to be intuitive about the child you're looking after or whatever. Well, that seems to be linked to motherhood, but actually is just intuition. But the mothering role is a construct of me. It's a construction. You don't need a mother for there to be mothering. But the mother invariably, as a me, takes on the role of I am a mother. And that's an artificial construct. There's lots of things going on in this room right now which come out of the neurology of the body, which have absolutely nothing to do with me. But they don't. Me is just a bit of added software.
So this mother, not a role, but it can be the neurology of the body, the instinct of the body.
The neurology of the body is to mother, not to be a mother.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
One is very natural and free, and the other one adds constraints to being a mother. And then whatever you grow up with through your mother or father,
Conditioning.
that you learn about
Yeah.
how to be a good mother, is then added to mothering.
Yeah.
And brings usually a sort of tension.
And this still after 10 years, when my daughter had left, still appears
Yeah,
in my daydream and in my night dreams.
yeah, because you do.
Who? The me? Well, that's a real drag.
Yes, being me is a real drag.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But Tony, animals also have they
Mothering, but not
Yes.
a role.
So there's
I haven't met a dog yet that has a role, or a cat.
so it's different than it's.
Yeah, it's the natural function out of neurology, whatever, mothering, being a scavenger like a vulture or whatever, that's in the neurology. But there's nothing else that needs to take on a role because there's nothing else that's separate. Me needs to take on a role because it feels that it's in a subject-object world or a dualistic world which it has to deal with. Me creates a whole lot of games and roles and strategies. Me has a lot of strategies in order to deal with what it thinks it has to deal with, which is completely artificial and totally unnecessary, and it wears you out.
Yeah.
It just wears you out. It's so...
So with a cat, for example, mothering just happens,
yeah.
and that's it. It just happens.
There is no... Yeah, it's like this. A cat is like this. It's just response. There isn't anything in there that's running that. There's no idea that a cat should be a certain way. There's just... What you're watching with grass and trees and dogs and cats is a response, life happening without anything running at all. There's nothing else running. It's just truth. If cats ever become separate one day, then they'll create a religion. Dogs will have dogma. So everything you see is just naturally what it is. Everything else is just naturally what it is.
Does the me influence the behavior of the organism, of the psychophysical organism?
Yes, well, it does, except that, of course, don't forget me is nothing. Everything comes out, the source of everything is no thing. And no thing me's, and therefore me, or the brain, seems to have an influence on it. But of course that influence is completely meaningless. It has no consequence.
was surprising that I didn't have any spiritual experience, like absence or me or something.
So far, are you saying you haven't so far, ever?
No, I didn't have. I was surprising that I didn't have. But also I see I don't have feeling of mother.
No.
But I have one girl as my good friend. You see, I don't have this feeling of be mother. I
no,
don't
you
have.
don't have to.
Yeah, yes.
No. That
So-
isn't the way you play your game.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, I have just friend in her case. Yes, just
You have a friend.
yes. As this girl who is my daughter.
Right. Oh, I see.
yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm with you now. Right.
Understand. She is my daughter, but I
But you
don't.
have no mother in you.
Yes,
that
I
sort
don't
of thing.
have feeling. Yes, but just it's
Yeah.
like big
I was
thing.
the same actually. I didn't have a very strong father in instinct.
Yeah.
So, my so-called in the story children were my friends, right up until.
It means nothing special.
No, in that sense, no. There's no sort of obligation in it or need to be a certain way. And of course, the thing is that what we talk about just now with somebody who's lost their daughter some years ago, there's an attachment to what was apparently their daughter, which keeps me screwed in. You know, the daughter hasn't been dropped, really, as a daughter, because it keeps me going. That attachment to the daughter keeps me in place.
This I feel more with lovers, with partner.
Yeah.
Partner keeps me going on, keeps me longing and keeps me to be.
Love, yeah. That's your way, you're a lover.
Yes, yes.
So your game is to be a lover. What are you doing for dinner?
Tony? Yeah, you like to say anything? I'm still on the same subject. Assuming the person that we call Claire dies, yeah, or some other person,
Yeah, go on.
anybody, mine dies, I would think that there would be tears in one case and not in the other.
Oh, I don't think you can assume anything.
No, it's just a fantasy that I have.
Sadness can arise.
Yeah.
I mean, sadness has arisen in the apparent Claire about her father dying. That doesn't mean to say there's a relationship.
And this is the point I'm trying to get at. So this does not mean that there is a relationship.
No.
But sadness...
There's no separate father. They never, for recently, as far as Claire, the apparent Claire is concerned, there never was a separate father that she was related to. That was just an energy that was happening that is not now there. So there's sadness about that.
But this sadness wouldn't be there if Mr. Jones down the street died.
Well, you don't know Mr. Jones. No. Not necessarily, no. But that's energy in that life happening that isn't there anymore.
That's energy. What was it again?
It's just energy. It's just a closer energy, or an energy that is in that appearance that is not there anymore. So sadness can arise.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
And also happiness can arise.
Yeah.
Anything.
But
It's only that there isn't a separation between one and the other anymore. There isn't a relationship which is about one thing being apart from another.
Thank you.
So, there's energy in the body. So, you get two energies together. They either attract or repel each other.
Yeah.
So, you could say that's a sort of relationship.
Well, it's not a relationship in terms of it being one thing that's apart from another. It's different. It's just energy happening, or only apparently happening. Energy happens, in all sorts of ways. Energy takes any form, and there can be an energy that is attracted to another apparent energy. But neither of them are apart. That has just been described is simply what is happening. This is the difficulty with this, is that one energy being attracted to another energy is actually a description of something that is apparently happening. And then ultimately you have to come to the final description of this source of description. And that is that those two energies, or those energies being attracted to each other, are apparently happening, but of course in reality nothing is happening. The difficulty for me is it's continually trying to relate to something that it can't understand. So it's trying to, that thing it can't understand, it's trying to bring back into its world.
Tony. He said there's no intention in life.
Oh, well, there is. There's an appearance of intention, but only in the separate story. In the story of me, there is apparent intention. So wholeness arises as apparent intention, but wholeness doesn't intend. There's no intention in the whole, because there isn't anything happening. It's only in the world of the me that the me dreams that something is happening, so it has to intend for what's happening to be better for it. Usually.
But if you look at cats, supposedly not having a separate identity.
A cat doesn't need a me to catch a mouse.
Yes, but is there not an intention to feel well?
There
in a
appears
cat?
to be an intention, but it's simply a response out of nothing to catch something.
So I read that a little on this tiny little thing in the sea, the tiniest cell in the sea, even this tries to be in the adequate temperature. If
Yeah, but
it's
it's
slightly
only-
too cold or slightly too warm, it always tries to get the best temperature. So this is called an intention to, I mean, we say for us to be happy.
The scientists might call it an intention. As far as I'm concerned, it's just what's happening.
So if I then completely trust my own biology, then I'm fine.
Oh no, I don't know anything about that. An intention is a choice to move from A to B, to make something happen. That only appears to be there in the story of me, because it's only me that's convinced that it has free will and choice. It's a fallacy. There's nothing that intends anything, because there's nothing that makes any choices. There aren't any choices. There appears to be action, and for the me, there appears to be an action in a cat to catch a mouse, which would also include in the cat an intention and choice to catch a mouse. Actually, it's just what happens.
So there's no intention in biology, in any
No, there's only what
to
happens.
survive.
Yeah.
The feeling to survive. This is
There
not
is
an
there is an
intention.
energy to survive, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have something in it that separately chooses to do that.
So it's autopilot, autopilot.
Yeah, everything's all on autopilot. Everything's nothing appearing to happen.
So you could say everything is an autopilot.
Yeah,
It's on autopilot.
it's all just the mechanism. Absolutely.
Even my worrying is autopilot.
Oh, no, your worrying is then in this separate story. But it is still, there's nothing there that is worrying, it's just worrying. It's only the me that thinks that it's separate from the autopilot and can change the direction of the boat.
But oneness, is that not something more than just autopilot?
There is something far more than autopilot, absolute unconditional love.